New tariffs are coming, like cold winds sweeping across a quiet, barren field, where the grass bends low and the sky hangs heavy. Prices are rising. Phones, clothes, and daily necessities. Each one feels heavier in our wallets, like stones added to a fragile scale, testing how much we can carry before it breaks. Recession looms quietly on the horizon, like a storm cloud we hope won't arrive. Yet know deep down it probably will. It's not a question of if, but when, and how we'll stand when it comes. The world is shifting beneath our feet. Policies change without our consent. Markets tremble beyond our grasp. And we stand here, watching the shadows grow longer, feeling the weight settle into our bones, wondering what comes next in this uncertain dance. But this is not a time for fear. It's a time for clarity, for finding stillness amid the noise, for choosing how we face the storm, for stepping forward with purpose when everything else seems to falter. Part 1. The current landscape. The Trump administration has proposed new tariffs on imports, a policy that could raise the prices of goods by 20 to 30%. It's a number that sounds abstract until you feel it in the checkout line. From electronics to basic clothing, from kitchen appliances to school supplies, everything could become harder to afford. The things we rely on, a phone to stay connected, a jacket to keep warm, suddenly feel like luxuries we must question. But it's not just the average consumer who feels this weight. Small businesses will bear the strain. The corner store, the family-run workshop, they'll face higher production costs, tighter profit margins, and some may shutter their doors forever, leaving empty windows where hope once stood. Families may cut back on small joys. A weekend meal out, a new book for the kids, just to keep the lights burning another month. The sacrifices start small, but they pile up, like pebbles forming a wall between now and tomorrow. Workers may see reduced hours. Job insecurity creeps in. A phone that doesn't ring. A shift that doesn't come. Stress rises, not just in bank accounts, but in quiet homes where hope feels thin, where conversations turn tense, where sleep comes harder each night. Yet take a breath. This is not the first storm humanity has weathered. We've faced wars, collapses before. The world turns, and we turn with it, not unbroken, but enduring. This will not be the last storm, but it's one we can face, if we choose to see it clearly. Part 2. The Stoic perspective. Now imagine you are Marcus Aurelius living today. Your work is slowing to a crawl. Bills pile up on the kitchen counter, unopened, whispering doubt. Uncertainty clouds your every decision. What to keep? What to let go? What do you do? In ancient Rome, Marcus faced plague, war, and economic collapse. His legions fell on distant fields. His people starved in crumbling streets. Disease swept through like a thief. Yet he didn't run. He didn't complain. He sat in his tent, under flickering lamplight, and wrote. "If this is fate," he said, "I accept it. If I can act, I will. Not with anger, but with a calm that cut through chaos." That is Stoicism, not passive surrender to the world's weight, but active resilience in its face. It's not about ignoring pain. It's about facing it with a steady heart, about standing tall when the ground shakes. Marcus didn't control the empire's fall, but he controlled his mind, and that was enough. Like him, we are not powerless. We can act with wisdom, even when the world seems to unravel, when the news drones on, when the numbers don't add up. We can choose our response, and in that choice lies our strength. It's not the storm that defines us. It's the way we hold the helm, the way we breathe through the wind, the way we decide to live, in a moment that tests everything we are. Part 3. danger and opportunity. We cannot control the policies, the decisions made in distant rooms, the ink drying on papers we'll never see. We cannot rewrite the economy, the tides of wealth and loss that sweep across nations without pause. But we can shape how we respond, and that is where power begins. During the COVID pandemic, those who pivoted found light in the dark. Mask makers stitched hope from cloth. Online educators turned screens into classrooms. Grocery delivery apps brought food to locked doors. They didn't just survive, they thrived. Not by luck, but by seeing what others missed. In the 2008 recession, many fled the housing market in panic, sold their homes, abandoned their plans, ran from the crash. But some saw opportunity. They bought low when others sold high. They built tech startups amid the ruins, small seeds planted in broken soil. They took calculated risks when fear ruled the day, and those risks grew into legacies. Jeff Bezos? He built Amazon when the dot-com bubble burst, not in a time of safety, but in a time of chaos, when investors fled and dreams dissolved. He saw a future others couldn't, and he worked while they waited. Even today, someone is quietly starting a business, not because it's safe, not because the path is clear, but because it's possible. In garages, in late-night kitchens, in the flicker of a laptop screen, they're building something new, something born from uncertainty itself. Winners don't wait for the sun to shine. They build when the skies are gray, when the wind howls, when the ground feels unsteady. Their courage lights the way, not with loud triumph, but with quiet, persistent steps. Proof that chaos can be a canvas, if we dare to paint on it. Part 4. Prepare and act. So what can we do today? Not tomorrow, not when the storm clears, but right now, in this moment of shadow and choice. First, stay calm. Avoid doom scrolling, the endless loop of headlines that feed fear instead of answers. You don't need 100 updates per hour. Step back, breathe, let your mind settle. Focus on what you can control, not the noise, but the silence you create. Second, build your resources. Learn something useful. Coding to shape the future. Graphic design to craft beauty. Personal finance to guard your own. Or simply start saving. $5 a week. A coin here, a bill there. It's small, but it grows, giving you freedom later when you need it. Third, think adaptively. Turn off that extra light at night. Cancel that subscription you don't use, the one you forgot you even had. Try freelancing, a side job, a small project. It might feel unsteady at first, like stepping onto a swaying bridge. But even one small gig can teach you more than a year of waiting for the perfect chance. These aren't grand gestures. They're quiet moves, practical, deliberate, like stones laid for a path you'll walk later. They build a foundation, not just to survive, but to live with purpose. What about you? What skill will you begin with? Something small, something yours? Are you ready to save? Not next month, but today, when it matters most. The smallest step now can carry you far, if you take it with intention. Ending, reflection and philosophy. The storm is not your enemy. It's just a test, a mirror held up to your soul, reflecting who you are. When the light fades and the wind rises, your ship, and how you sail it, that's what matters. Not the waves, not the clouds, but the hands on the wheel, the eyes looking forward. As Seneca once said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. The mind can build mountains from shadows, cast giants from flickers of doubt, but the truth is often simpler, less cruel than we fear. You cannot change the tariffs, the numbers set by distant hands. You cannot stop the winds of recession, the currents that pull at the world, but you can change how you walk through them, how you stand when they blow, how you move when they push. You can be afraid, lost in the noise, clinging to what was, drowning in what might be. Or you can be prepared, steady in the present, building for what will come. The choice is yours. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, in this breath, in this heartbeat, in this quiet space before the storm. Thank you for listening. See you in the next video, where we continue the journey of living slowly, thinking deeply, and standing stronger each day. Bye.